you want to know all about how we learned about it to begin with?
Whatever you'll share in like 5 or
Okay,
10 minutes.
well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the problem that we had when we had the group. A group of us, there was about 7 families got together, and we were studying every Friday night, and we were studying these things out. And one day I got a phone call from the pastor, and he said, "We want to meet with you and Dawn. It's a private meeting, so don't tell anyone else. We just want to meet together." And so as soon as I hung up, I, of course, called everybody else. And they had all gotten phone calls, too.
Okay.
And so then we had what was called the upper room experience. There was a Sabbath school room upstairs, and we all met up there. We came in, and the church board was on one side. We were on another side. The president of the conference and the secretary of the conference, this is the Ohio Conference,
Yeah.
were there. And we all got out our Bibles. No one from the other side of the room had a Bible, not even the pastor,
Wow.
other than the president of the conference. The president of the conference said, "Well, who is your spokesperson?" I said, "Well, we don't have a spokesperson. We didn't even know anybody else was going to be here." And he sort of looked at the pastor. And so one of our members said, "Well, I guess I can speak for the group." And he opened his Bible and gave a wonderful Bible study about the one true God and his Son. And the president was just sitting there like there was nothing he could say.
Yeah.
And finally he closed his Bible and he said, "Well, I think the best thing is that we should all agree to disagree and be friends."
Wow.
They got up and they all left. And, and we left, and then we were told very clearly, you are not allowed to give Bible studies, you are not allowed to sing, you are not allowed to do anything in church.
That's like what we had happen, similar? Yeah.
And at the very next Sabbath, one of our members of our group happened to be a Sabbath school leader, a teacher. Well, he, of course, they hadn't announced that there would be new teachers. And one of the conference people was sitting right behind me. It was in the church sanctuary. And Ed got up and he opened his Bible and he said, John 3:16, God so loved the world. And the conference person behind me leaped up and said, "No!" I about had a heart attack.
When John 3:16 is sinful, we're in trouble.
Yeah. And we were all like, "What?" And that's what he was afraid he was going. No, it happened to be part of the Sabbath school lesson that week.
Wow.
And so this has gone on until we finally, but I'll tell you right now.
That was 40, how many years
That was
ago?
42 years ago.
Wow.
And of course, little by little, we stayed in conference for a number of years. And of course, they wouldn't let us do anything. And somebody told us that there was a black man preaching and he needed help. So we went over to this little church over there and joined. I'll tell you right now, they took our church into fellowship knowing that we are non-Trinitarian. They welcomed us in as we are the only non-Trinitarian official Seventh-day Adventist church that I know of.
The whole church is non-Trinitarian?
Yeah.
Including the pastor?
Well, that's another thing. Our pastor is S.T. Lewis. He'll be speaking
Okay.
later. Okay. He was on the conference committee when our church was taken into fellowship, and he was the only one on the conference committee that said, absolutely not, you cannot bring them in being non-Trinitarian. Today he's a non-Trinitarian. He's
Wow.
probably handed out more of Alan's books than anybody else I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
So
So you and your husband have believed this for 40-something years.
40-something years. Yeah.
Wow. And you're still a Seventh-day Adventist.
Yes. Oh,
That's
yes.
wonderful.
We are. He's the elder. I'm the Sabbath school superintendent.
Good for you.
And people ask me, well, what do you do like when you get a quarterly like we had last quarter? And I said, I teach the truth.
Yeah.
I use the quarterly, we read it, we go over it, and we simply teach the truth. It's there.
Yeah.
We've had some wonderful experiences. We had one where the secretary of the conference came because the then pastor was getting a little worried because he was not a theologian and he couldn't, other people were questioning things. So one prayer meeting, we got there, we're all sitting around, I was sitting here, the secretary of the conference here, my husband there, and it went on around. And so after our little prayer meeting, the pastor said to the secretary, "Do you have anything else to say?" And he said, "Well, no, I thought it was a good message." And he said, "Well, you know, this quarterly, this was back at the last Holy Spirit quarterly."
This most recent one?
No, the
Okay.
one that was a few years ago,
Okay,
a number of
sure.
years ago.
Uh-huh.
He said, the Sabbath School Quarterly seems to be bringing up some problems. Maybe you could make some comments about it." And I picked up my Bible. My husband picked up his Bible, and we turned around and looked at him. And he looked at me, and he looked at my husband. He said, "Well, you know, I've got a meeting."
Oh,
He
no.
got up and he was out. See, that's it.
Yeah.
It's there. It's the truth.
The truth is in the Bible.
The truth is there. God
Yeah.
so loved the world.
Amen.
Amen.